Dzień dobry, YouTube. Evie Tommy to another episode of Atticus Eats. It is so wonderful to be back here with you all today, my dear friends. It's getting hot, which is not something I'm looking forward to. Outside of the car, in the breeze, it's actually quite nice. Inside the car, you gotta have the windows down, have a little bit of ventilation, so as to not die. Anyways, my dear friends, I'm very smart that despite the hot weather, I've decided to get a hot beverage. I was just in the mood for breakfast food today, and at church, I had several people recommend or talk about in passing this place, this establishment that we're attending to today. And it's actually interesting in looking it up to be like, okay, where is it, and how do I get to it, and whatever. Turns out that this is a chain, like, that's all over California for sure, and it may be other states. So once again, as always, if you have this location in your proximity, please do let me know. I'm curious to see how global or national or local of a scale this place is. But my dear friends, there's no label on that. Here, I'll show you. My friends, we are here today at a place called Philz Coffee. Philz with a Z. Non-possessive. So Philz, like the grammar of this hurts me. It's actually very painful. As did their musical taste when I entered into the establishment, as you could probably tell by my face. My face was in that B-roll trying to deduce what exactly it was I was looking at and how I could order things. It was a very plain menu that didn't make sense. They had hot beverages listed, but not what they were. Types of coffee. And then, like, flavored coffee, but it was all cold brew, which I don't drink. And so it really was one of those situations where I kind of looked back and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have questions for this nice lady when I get up here. But through those questions, which she was actually really cool to answer, I was able to procure sustenance and beverage today. We are looking at a hot cup of one of their flavored coffees today, and it's called the Honey Haze. And at present, it is their #1 selling drink at Philz Coffee. Honey Haze, it has oat milk in it, which I didn't know oats could be milked. I didn't know they had udders. And, honey in it with like a medium roast or a light roast kind of coffee that they have. And this is one thing though that my friend Ghost, who's a part of the community, who's a part of the Discord and Twitch community, and obviously watches the videos as well, he was recommending to me, Atticus, at some point try honey in a hot cup of coffee. You won't regret it. I did it at home, and it was fantastic. This was a while ago, and so I get to now circle back to this concept with you all here on Atticus Eats. I'm very much looking forward to that. Also, their #3 best-selling item is their bacon and egg breakfast burrito, which you guys know we loved the breakfast burrito from Coffee Bean, as well as their mocha. We're going to try the coffee first, then I'm going to get into the burrito. What was funny, though, is that the woman took my order, then promptly completely forgot about my breakfast burrito. So I was in there for like 7 minutes while she had to go and actually make the breakfast burrito and give it to me. And I actually asked for hot sauce, which I don't think she gave. Nope, she didn't. Well, that was my brick moment in real life for the day. You're welcome, middle reference. Ha, ha 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 ha. Alright. Nesovia, people. Coffee time. There's a little bit of bitter with the dirt taste, as John Panette would say. But it's very creamy, very sweet, which is exactly the way I wanted it. Let's take another sip. It's weird. It's weird. It's foam, like, it's not really foamy, it's bubbly. It's not exactly pleasant. Yeah, how they foamed the oat milk, because it's not actually milk is what I'm guessing. It gets weird in its texture. It's almost like the consistency of like bubble soap, like a bubble bath. It's like that consistency, but it doesn't taste like soap, it tastes like coffee. Now, I am getting the notes of honey, though, which I really, really, really like. Honey, raw honey, do not sleep on honey as a sweetener. Honey is, especially raw honey, is so ridiculously good for you. And tons of antioxidants, it's a superfood, it doesn't actually ever go bad either. It's like salt in that way, and spices. But this is, the flavor of the honey and the flavor of the coffee is good. It's just the weirdness of the bubbles of the oat milk and the kind of dirty taste of the oat milk is a bit strange. Okay, it's better as you get through the bubbles. So like all the bubbles are dissipating. And now it's just a very smooth cup of coffee. Okay, maybe it's growing on me. Maybe it's growing on me. Now, on this week's installment of Being Comedically Small, no, I don't. Oh, no, she did include hot sauce. We're good. And it's Cholula. Let's go. They're people of taste. I appreciate that. I feel much better. We have our Philz Coffee napkins. 1 cup at a time. Like that's how you drink? Or what is the statement here? This cost me $6. For $6 at Coffee Bean, I get a burrito twice this size. And thickness. This lacks in both girth and length. I'm just saying. Supposedly this has bacon, egg, cheese, and potato in it. Hopefully that's correct. Dude, take this back and send me a burrito. They definitely started here in California, because they charge you a really high price and you get next to nothing. That's a sad panda. As I sip my coffee and contemplate my ifs. This is growing on me, though. As a unique taste with the honey in it, very good. Their coffee grounds taste very good. Again, there's a little bit of a bitter taste, though. And I feel like it's the oat milk. The oat milk. I can speak. Oat milk. Yeah. I think it's the oat milk is what's kind of, yeah. What I might do, if I ever come back to this place, is order it again with regular, like, half and half cream or something. Because, anything that doesn't actually come out of a cow, it's kind of weird. Or rather, an udder. Because goat milk is actually pretty good. This is very hot. We're going to take a minute and let that cool, but we'll keep pushing forward with the video, my friends. Let's go ahead and answer a YouTube comment question. Let's see here. Oh, here's a good one. Random Gaming Girl 5573 here on YouTube asks, in the show, the middle, for the Planet Nowhere books, were the pages blank or written out? Pardon my belch. Great question. So, actually, how they went about doing it is our prompt master, Skip Torvin, he printed out the book covers to look like Planet Nowhere. And what they ended up doing, though, is they ended up covering those book covers. They covered regular books with those book covers. So in the show, I was looking at an actual book, but it wasn't anything to do with Planet Nowhere. One of them was an Edgar Allan Poe book, like a compendium of his writings. Another one, as I want to say, it was something thick and like it was a kid's novel. Like Percy Jackson, I think. It was one of the Percy Jackson books. There was another one that was like some sort of romance novel. So they were different with every one. What was very cool, though, that my homies in the prop department, my homies in the prop department would do for me is that if there were scenes where I could get away with reading the book the whole time, because that was what the scene called for, often what they would do is actually stick my lines into the pages that I was reading. And so it was really cool. I had a cheat sheet with me if I needed them ever. But for the most part, no, it was just regular pages, and I would be memorizing my dialogue and communicating through the the scene. What was funny, though, is the guy who originated the Planet Nowhere storyline, he was a writer that we had for a while, and then he left the show. And when that happened, our relic of him was actually the Planet Nowhere book covers, because Skip had ended up taking a picture of that writer with a pipe in an authorly way, and had that as the back of the book. And then he wrote out, what he did is he just copy and pasted one paragraph that the writer wrote as like a description for the book, and just repeated it 3 times on the back of the book. So that was really cool. David Rosenthal, that was his name, because that was actually his name in the show for the author. So that was really cool. Wow, that just unlocked a memory for me. That was his name, because it's on the cover of the books. But yeah, so that's a little fun, little known fact for you guys about the show. I may or may not have kept a Planet Nowhere book. I used it all the time, and magically it ended up in my trailer and subsequently into my car. I don't know what happened. But anyway, that's something to showcase at some point. Alright, this burrito's very hot. Hopefully I don't scald myself, but I'm hungry. Mmm! Mmm! Our absurdly small, overpriced burrito. That's literally as big as my hand. You guys see that? Mmm. 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 Flavor is on point. Ooey gooey cheese, eggs are cooked through, and fluffy. Fluffy potatoes with a really good bite, and then the nice saltiness of the bacon. Actually, I don't think I've got to the bacon yet. No, I did. No saltiness of the bacon. And that is pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see if we can get some hot sauce on here to spice up our life. Imported from Mexico. Cholula sauce picante. Hot sauce for the layman. If you hot sauce, look, the hot sauce matches my shirt. If you hot sauce like you mean it. Random Gaming Girl, though, thank you for that wonderful question. Everything is better with Cholula. In my zombie apocalypse kit, I'm either going to be toting a bottle of Tapatio or a bottle of Cholula. Because that's just what you need sometimes. Especially if all the good food is gone for an indefinite period of time. Awesome. I'm getting like no bacon in this, by the way. They might have omitted the bacon. That's potato that you see there. Interesting. There's a small piece at the bottom. Oh boy. I've got a rating for this place. Who can guess what it is? If you have a Philz Coffee near you, what do you usually like to get when you go there and spend more money than you should on things that you're not getting enough quality of? Subsequently, have you ever tried the honey in coffee trick that my friend Ghost recommended to me and now we've ordered here? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Tell me. The judging is real. Alright. Just took my last couple bites. Real talk here. Flavor-wise, that burrito was decent. Genuinely. Really good, nice potatoey flavor. Eggs, like I said, very fluffy. Had a little bit of creaminess to them, which is the right way to make a scrambled egg. You don't want your scrambled eggs to be dry. These were not. Cheese, ooey gooey delicious, but not overbearing. You're not just eating a giant ball of cheese. But, given that I ordered a bacon and egg burrito, and I probably got 2 infinitesimally small bites of bacon, and they charged me $6.50 for a burrito that was the size of my hand, and I have a tiny hand, that's a problem. I'm gonna rate that burrito a 5.5 out of 10. Purely because it is false advertising and way too expensive for far less of quality. Like, far less a quantity, amount, I mean. Now, as far as this coffee is concerned, again, the redeeming nature of this is that their grounds are actually pretty decent. Genuinely, they are. And the honey that they use is a very nice, warm honey flavor. I really enjoy that. But, the oat milk, I tried it. Not my cup of tea. It contributes a little bit of a bitter taste. Would I get this again, though? If I was out with friends, we needed a cup of coffee, and the only place nearby was a Philz Coffee? Yes. I would definitely try a cup of Philz Coffee again. However, this one, just first time here, and I am rating this, I'm probably going to give it a 7 out of 10. And that is being generous because, again, their grounds themselves do taste good. And the combination of the honey and all this other stuff, I think it's cool that they offer this as a menu item. It is their #1 seller. I definitely see how it could be. As a good Polish boy, who, you know, milk is milk, cream is cream, cheese is cheese. And note that I do drink almond milk, but the oat milk doesn't quite cut the mustard for me. And that's my only beef with it because, again, it's resulting in kind of a dirt taste. Or, I don't know better, maybe I need to get a different cup of coffee from Philz. It might be their grounds that have more of a bitter dirt taste. But, for meeting my caffeination addiction needs for today, this is doing the trick. And they are lucky that I am a coffee connoisseur who enjoys trying new things. And the adventure of it is what made this place totally worth it. If I were to rate, though, Coffee Bean completely outbeats Philz. I would say Philz is probably even a step beneath Dunkin'. Because at Dunkin' Donuts, you can get a lot of food for a much cheaper price. Or a comparable price to this. You still get more for the same amount or less money. So if I were to tier list it, Philz is down here at the bottom. Dunkin' is just above it. Coffee Bean is a few notches above it. Starbucks is at the top of the list. Just because I normally go to Starbucks very often. It's been my place that I go to with my mom forever. But actually, Starbucks and Coffee Bean are tied because Starbucks got rid of their best menu item, which was the old-fashioned donut. So they came down. And Coffee Bean is right there with them. So, there we go. tier list with Atticus. One more question before we go, dear friends. Let's take a look at this. This is a really cool one. Comes from my dear friend Tom, who is a part of both the YouTube and the Twitch and the Discord communities. Very grateful for you as always, Tom. Tom asks, was there any skill that you had to learn for any of the roles that you played? If so, was it difficult to learn that skill, and have you retained it to this day? That's a really cool question. That's a unique, interesting question to ask. I really appreciate it, Tom. So, the two that stand out to me, there was an episode of The Middle where Brick needed to play basketball, and it was not the block party. It was not early on. This was actually where it was something where he and Mike were bonding. They set up a basketball hoop in the front of the Heck house, and Brick was shooting basketball shots and making them. Well, what was really funny is that standing perfectly still, which I think was actually the joke in the show, I actually could shoot hoops. I could throw the basketball and it would end up going into the basket like probably 85% of the time. And even Neil, as a person, was impressed. He was like, wow, I actually didn't know you could do that. I can't dribble to save my life. That'll never happen. But, being able to shoot the hoops, right, I was able to do that. And so that was really, really, really cool. Totally off the cuff. Very little practice whatsoever for that. But I was able to do that. Have I retained it to this day? Probably not. But I don't have access to a basketball hoop, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you. The second one, this was very cool, was I was on a Disney XD show back when there was a Disney XD. Who remembers that? And that Disney XD show was called I'm in the Band. And what it was is the character that I was playing was this child prodigy for the cello. And it was really, really cool because that was a role. I got the audition, went, did it, and it was practically like, yes, it's you, you're hired. I think I found out I got hired literally the same day I did the audition, if not the next day. And that was fun because that was a project I got to do after us, in between 2 seasons of The Middle. And really good experience. Lots of the cast were really cool. And the crewmates as well. And that was a really fun experience because I got to actually sit and learn to play the cello. I never actually played it, but what they wanted, because it was a Disney show, is that the quick turnaround was have the composer come in, teach us all basics of the instrument, and we would then look like we were accurately playing in the show. And what I thought was really cool is actually the way that they set up the cello, and it fit me pretty well actually, is they set it up in such a way where it fit me and I could mimic playing a cello actually very well. I had the long, I still do, I have the long musician fingers, and so I could look like I was making chords very well, and then doing this with the bow, as it was called. And so that was a very neat experience, and what it was is there was a whole concert that happened in the episode where it was like an opera concert. All the kids were involved. And out of all the different actors, the composer actually said I was mimicking the best. And so that made me feel very good. That was a very fun experience to be able to have. And then actually an honorable mention that I would love to give, and I think I brought this one up before, but I want to be able to share it with you all again now. There was an episode where Brick was able to catch up with his family on all of his different interests that he had. And one of them was Brick was doing flatfoot dancing. Well, a lot of people won't know this, and I'm proud that I actually get to share it with you all. I am actually the one who knew flatfoot dancing before Brick did. And I spent probably 2 years trying to pitch to Eileen Heisler, hey, this is such an interesting dance style that has so much history in it. Please allow me to have this be a character trait in the show. Can we write an episode where Brick does this? And also, can we include my friends, the Wemberley Bluegrass Band, in the show in some capacity? because I am friends with a bluegrass band. They're called the Wemberley Bluegrass Band. Please look them up. They're absolutely extraordinary. Best bluegrass band this side of the Mississippi, in my opinion. I've seen them in concert a number of different times. I'm friends with all of them. They're believers. They're wonderful, beautiful people. And as young as they were, their talent was ridiculous. Their talent is extraordinary. What their capabilities are for doing everything from playing the banjo, to the fiddle, to the ukulele, to the guitar, to the dobro guitar, to singing, they're incredible. So I spent 2 years pitching that to Eileen. Finally, she acquiesced to some degree and let it be in that show. But I was in a whole bluegrass phase for much of my teenage years, and part of that was I actually was able to learn a little bit of flatfoot dancing with my mom. Obviously, I can't do all the wild tricks and awesome things that very, very, very talented flatfoot dancers can do, but I can do enough, like the bowman, the heel skid step, a little bit of the hopping and stuff like that, and the stomps, and the slides. And the slides are actually what Michael Jackson took and turned into the moonwalk. There's a step in flatfoot dancing where if this is the floor, this is your foot, you go back like this. Well, if you do that multiple times with both of your feet, guess what? You're moonwalking. So that's actually a flatfoot dancing move, and Michael Jackson was a flatfoot dancer, and he took the inspiration of that and incorporated it into his performances and music videos. So that was absurdly cool, little known fact. But yes, that was me. That was something that I was able to incorporate into the show. I loved it. I was so grateful that I had that, and actually they did use the Wemberley Bluegrass Band in the show when Brick plays the boombox and a bluegrass song kicks off. That's the Wemberley Bluegrass Band, and that's an original song of theirs that was passed down to them by another artist who wanted them to actually be able to record it, and they did. And it's so awesome. I'm a hard-working man, doing the best I can with everything that I do. I'm working all the time, but I don't really mind saying hard work's never made me blue. No, hard work's never made me blue. They sing it better. But yeah, that's the song. So that's actually a really cool fact. Tom, you totally unlocked a memory for me with that. I'm sure I could flatfoot dance just a little bit if it was a rowdy enough country-themed party. I'm sure I could evoke that again in me. That would be a skill that I've retained. But, oh my goodness, Tom, awesome question, dude. Internet high five to you once again, my friend. You rock out loud. Jakuya. Alrighty, cool people. Well, listen, thank you so much for hanging out with me once again today. What a wonderful time. Love each and every one of you. Check out the links in the description box below. Link to my Twitch channel. I go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. I just choked on my spit. Yeah, and then Cameo. Check out Cameo. Would love to make your extra special celebrations extra special, supercalifragilistic, expialidocious, and righteous. Please book me on Cameo. Would love to take part in your celebrations, whatever they may be. Father's Day, anniversary, you're getting married. I've actually had the pleasure recently of being able to do a couple of videos for couples who are getting married, like it's their rehearsal dinner and it's going to be played at their rehearsal dinner, or it's some sort of celebration leading up to their marriage. That means the world to me, you guys. I am so honored to be able to take part in those things, and so please allow me the opportunity to. I would love to be able to consider booking me down on Cameo below. Y'all are awesome. Can't wait to see you in the next one. God bless. Do widzenia.
I just want a great life, something where I feel like I just didn't waste time, something I look back and say that was a great time, cause man I just hate when the years pass by the wayside.